welcome to Studio 5. ABC News correspondent Linsey Davis is here with a new children's book. You've seen our previews of the film Overcomer. Actress and Bible teacher Priscilla Shirer is here with an inside look at the film and will give you a Studio 5 first look at the animated film Abominable. But let's begin with the countdown of the 5 top stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. We begin with number 5. At number 5, the end of the summer box office season.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance.
The Lion King is the summer's top earner with $523.4 million domestically. Toy Story 4, Spider-Man Far From Home, Aladdin, and John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum round out the top 5.
At number 4, it's Jonas Brothers' Love.
I'm a sucker for all the subliminal things no one knows about you.
Before taking the concert stage in Hershey, Pennsylvania this weekend, where fan Lily Jordan was supposed to be, Joe Jonas, Nick Jonas, and Kevin Jonas stopped by our hospital room, where she had to undergo chemotherapy treatment.
Do you mind if we get some pictures with him?
Oh my God, please.
We'll come around this side, okay?
Yeah.
The brothers posed for pictures with their teenage fan, who posted an invitation for them to visit, never expecting them to actually show up.
I've been dancing on top of cars and stumbling out of bars. I follow you through the dark, can't get enough.
And so begins the countdown. We'll pick things back up at number 3 in just a little bit. Linsey Davis is a familiar face for those who watch ABC News, but the correspondent is also a best-selling children's author, and she's written a second book.
But I imagine it's drastically different from when he ran before in 2000.
Asking the tough questions is at the heart of Linsey Davis's work as an ABC News correspondent. But in a People magazine exclusive, the New Jersey native shares it was a question from her son that inspired her very first children's book, The World is Awake, a celebration of everyday blessings.
Basically, I wanted to be able to answer his question and answer it for other toddlers and have a way for parents to be able to kind of give a gentle introduction of who God is to their children through nature.
She now follows that up with One Big Heart, a celebration of being more alike than different.
So One Big Heart, what inspired you to sit down and write a second children's book?
Yes, so, well, the first book did so well. The publisher came to me maybe within a week of that going on sale, and they said, let's do another book. And so I just felt like it was the climate in our country and realizing I have this young son that I'm trying to raise into a good citizen and one who is well adjusted and feels good about himself and is kind to other people and all that goes into that. And it just felt like we weren't being so kind to each other. And, you know, people will talk about how our country is divided and say, oh, that's just anecdotal. But when you look at, you know, hate crimes in the last 3 years have been rising year after year. There have been increases. And so I just felt, let me give kind of this life lesson, love letter to my son and to what I would imagine other parents want to instill these same kind of values in their children, just about you know, the rhetoric of racism obviously is nothing new, but the rhetoric seems to have gotten to a little crescendo in recent times.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of a way to establish to children everywhere, like, no, we are different. Okay, so let's be clear about that. But we have so much more in common than we, as far as like pointing out, you know, yes, our skin is different, our hair, our features, our likes, our dislikes, our beliefs perhaps. But God gave us all this special gift. He gave us one big heart. And that's the most important part because that's where love starts.
Now, that's where the book ends in terms of the lesson. But you also celebrate, as you mentioned, the differences.
Right.
We know that we are more alike than we are unalike. But why is it important to recognize the differences? Because one of the things I know that always bothers me, people say, I don't see color. I'm going, stop that.
And that is the point, is that people will often say the kids don't see color and kids are colorblind, and they certainly, that's not true. You know, kids do see color, they just don't assign a value to it. And so I think that that's when you have, I think that's adults who quite often do that. And so when you have those divisions, it creates like a them versus us attitude and a separation attitude. So I think to your question of why talk about the differences, because kids already see the differences. And so let's just be upfront about it and then get over it and let's figure out what we have in common and what unites us, and realize that that's so much more important. And I think that children, to their credit, and something that adults, it's kind of where the students become the teachers, and the adults could kind of learn from the little people in the room, is that, you know, despite your background or whatever it is, kids are looking and more readily and easily able to find the common ground. And so, you know, my son, who's been going off to camp, and when he comes home and says, like, oh, I have a new friend. When you ask him about his new friend, he doesn't say their race or their background or their belief system or anything like that. It's just like, hey, we both love snack time. We both love Legos. He immediately is going to tell you what they both have in common.
Yeah, I remember my son when he was in kindergarten, all grown up now, but he was the only black child in a private school that we sent him to. My wife and I were very nervous about that. He invites me to lunch on the day for parents to come. And he goes, Dad, do you know where the cafeteria is? And I said, I don't think so. Can you tell me how to get there? And he goes, when you first walk into the building, you're going to make a left, then you're going to make a right. And he goes, when you come, the cafeteria is full of us. So if you can't find me, I'm the only one with short hair. I thought, son, is that all you see?
That's great, though. That's great that was what he was pointing out, right? I mean, and I think that kids do have that pure heart. And so really this book is an affirmation of what kids already know and hoping that they're going to hold on to it into adulthood.
Nice. I see that you wrote this book with your mom.
Yes.
What, tell me about that, that process.
Right. So my mom is a retired English teacher, and she, from as young as I can remember, always was telling me, you know, these words to expand my vocabulary. I mean, I might have been 5 years old and she was talking about the ominous clouds, you know, and my dad would be like, what? She doesn't know what that means. But it really, I held on to some of those words. Nice. And I think that quite often that is the foundation that I had that really established me as deciding that I wanted to be a storyteller and really kind of falling in love with writing in the English language. And so it just felt right, because I always would send my mom things that I needed her to proofread or make it a little bit better. And so when I decided we're going to do the second book, and I was having a little bit of like writer's block, and so I said, you know, this is the topic, this is the theme, and you know, which direction would you go? And so we kind of would kick it back and forth, and it was really a fun project. I mean, my mom, you know, as any mom, they can be a little critical sometimes, you know, but it was a really nice project, and it was something that I decided when I was going to write a second book, I'm going to do this with my mom.
Linsey's latest book, One Big Heart, is available right now wherever books are sold. Coming up.
I think that forgiveness is cemented in our hearts when we actually extend not just grace in theory, but kindness practically to the person who has offended us.
Life lessons from the film Overcomer.
Take this one simple message.
With Bible teacher and actress Priscilla Shirer.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Here, we're committed to a heritage of rigorous scholarship dating back over 1,000 years.
And to a faith tradition dating back 1,000 more.
This is how we create a culture of inquiry where no topic is off limits.
And a culture of hope.
Anything's possible!
It's Christian leadership.
And it's changing the world for the better.
It's higher learning.
It's greater knowing.
It's what makes us whole.
It's what makes us Regent.
And welcome back to Studio 5. The countdown of the best headlines in uplifting entertainment continues now. At number 3. Singer Khalid is making sure people don't forget victims of last month's shooting in El Paso, Texas. The Grammy winner hosted a concert with a few of his friends this weekend, sharing on Instagram, "We raised $500,000 for the El Paso Community Foundation. Thank you guys so much for the support." Send me your location. Khalid has long shared his love for the city, even making mention of it in a documentary.
When my mom told me that we were moving to El Paso, it was kind of scary. I feel like I've learned so much, and I've learned to love this city as if it were my own, that it doesn't matter that I only lived there for 2 years. That foundation of me as an individual and as an artist is in El Paso.
At number 2.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you.
That's country music legend Dolly Parton, teaming up with For King and Country on a remix of their hit redemption song, God Only Knows.
It's Joel with For King Country here with the one and only.
Well, my name's Dolly Parton, and I'm so happy to be here.
And sharing the work behind this collaboration on Instagram.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you.
That's going to leave us with only one more story in this week's countdown of uplifting entertainment. Please stick around to see what comes in at number 1. Priscilla Shirer is known to many as a Bible teacher and best-selling author, but she's also an actress with 3 hit movies under her belt. The latest is Overcomer. Take a look.
Tell me your name.
Hannah Scott.
Hey, Hannah, I'm Coach Harrison. There's a form. Okay, you're a sophomore. Oh, you ran at Franklin High last year.
Yes, sir.
Born on Valentine's Day. I'm sorry, Hannah, is that?
It's for my asthma.
You have asthma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Olivia, there is no cross-country program.
What do you mean there's no program?
I had one girl show up and she's got asthma.
Oh, you mean Hannah Scott?
Yes.
Does she want to run?
Yes, but we can't allow that. How could she compete?
Her grandmother already gave me a doctor's note. She ran at Franklin last year. She just has to keep her inhaler with her.
Okay, but we still don't have a team, so what does it matter?
I thought that one runner could still medal without a team.
Technically, but why have a season with one runner?
Because one runner matters.
One runner does indeed matter. From the big screen to our screen, actress Priscilla Shirer joins us right now here in studio. So good to see you again, as always.
Always good to see you. Thank you.
So I know that now that people have begun to see this film, I'm curious, what have they been saying to you? What's been the response thus far?
Well, I think that their expectations are being met in the sense that after War Room, there was this high level of anticipation about what the Kendrick brothers would write and produce next. And so those that have seen the film, they really were on the edge of their seat with anticipation and excitement as they watched the story unfold. There were twists and turns that they were not expecting at all. And so that really did sort of entertain them while they were watching the film. But more than that, when they walk away, I've been hearing people really ask themselves the question, who have I let define me? They've been asking that question and then doing some deep digging in their own heart and with the Lord to really make sure that He is the only one that they have given the authority to define them and establish their significance. That's the point of the movie.
For those who have not seen the film yet, let's learn a little bit more about your character and how you personally are the same as she is or different.
Well, that's a good question. Olivia Brooks is my character. She's the principal of a school where Hannah, the main character, attends. And what I love about Olivia Brooks is that she's this polished professional woman. You can tell she cares very much about the technicalities of her job and doing it excellently. But she keeps taking off that professional veneer because she wants to have every opportunity she can to actually read between the lines of her job description and read between the lines of what a student might be saying to her, and really take every opportunity to speak to the heart of their issues and really just take them under her wing and comfort them and offer encouragement to them. So I love the character in that way because she's a beautiful picture of what it means to be a mentor.
Before I let you go, I know you were very reluctant some years ago when you were approached to act. You've now got 3 films under your belt. How are you feeling about the decision to say yes?
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you asked that because I'm feeling grateful is how I'm feeling. The faith-based industry, movie industry has been completely revamped and resurrected in a way in the last decade or so. What the secular community, Hollywood at large, now thinks when they hear the term faith-based film is completely different than 10 years ago. And to know that the Lord has included me in that, in this resurgence, so to speak, of such excellence on screen, of great storytelling, of unapologetic gospel, and not only that, but an opportunity for us to see diversity on screen, and not just in movies in general, but in faith-based movies that are speaking to unapologetic about Jesus Christ and speaking to issues of hope and of the heart and of faith, to be able to contribute even that element of drawing in diversity into these films so that everybody, every believer from every race can see themselves on the screen and enter into the story. Again, I just feel incredibly grateful that the Lord would include me in being a part of that.
Amen to that. Priscilla Shirer, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Great job in the film. And for those of you who only know her through her acting, you should check out her Bible teaching as well. Thank you, Priscilla.
Still to come.
I will make sure you get home, back to your family.
A closer look at Abominable, DreamWorks' latest animated adventure.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com. Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place, from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
You're back in Studio 5. Thanks for staying with us. We have made it to the final headline in this week's countdown of uplifting entertainment.
At number 1.
You think that I'm still holding on? Maybe you should go and love yourself.
An open letter from Justin Bieber to his 118 million followers on Instagram. He writes, "Hope you find time to read this. It's from my heart."
Each other's lonely nights, each other's paradise.
He goes on to say, "By 20, I made every bad decision you could have thought of and went from the most loved and adored to the most ridiculed, judged, and hated. It's taken me years to bounce back from all of these terrible decisions, fix broken relationships, and change habits. Now I'm navigating the best season of my life, marriage. where you learn patience, trust, commitment, kindness, humility, and all of the things it looks like to be a good man. All this to say, even when the odds are against you, keep fighting. Jesus loves you. Be kind today, be bold today, and love people today, not by your standards, but by God's perfect, unfailing love.
I'd like to be everything you want.
That wraps this week's countdown and brings us to the big screen. We're looking ahead this week. DreamWorks Animation's Abominable takes us on an unforgettable adventure, from the streets of China to breathtaking Himalayan snowscapes. Here's a Studio 5 first look.
Night. You need to spend more time here with your family. Oh, where are you going? Be back before dinner. Be careful out there. No boy.
Got it covered. Bye. I just want to escape. Dad always wanted me to travel the world. Someday. Huh? There's a Yeti on my roof. I don't know where you came from.
Hooray! He escaped. I want my Yeti back.
Is that your home? No way.
You can go your own way.
I will make sure you get home, back to your family. Everest is just a kid.
Stop hitting yourself.
This is you and your parents.
Aw, you have your mother's eyes.
There are people looking for you.
Go faster!
Whoa! You can do magic? This is amazing!
This is impossible!
You can go your own way.
Yeah, Ma, Beijing is great.
No matter how hard the journey gets, never give up. It's beautiful.
You did that, Yi?
I did that?
When Yi sets her mind on something, nothing is impossible.
Everest! Blueberries? Run!
That's a look at Abominable, which is in American theaters September 27th. We need to take a quick break right here, but before we do that, it is time to say it in pictures. Here's a look at this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
What a good feeling to know that I got someone so perfect.
Sending best wishes to R&B singer and one of Studio 5's first guests, Kenny Lattimore, who just shared news of his engagement to television judge Faith Jenkins. The happy couple are this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Up next.
I want people to leave with the hope that comes upon that simple action of looking up.
Hear what Lauren Daigle's single is lending inspiration to the team putting this show together.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
And ministering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
a 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to cbnnewschannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News.
And welcome back to Studio 5. As we approach the Dove Awards in the coming weeks, the soundtrack for this week's show is someone who has 6 nominations. Lauren Daigle's You Say is what's playing in my ear. You Say. Never forget, you are who God says you are. On that musical note, we are almost out of time for this edition of Studio 5. So here's a look at something we're working to bring you come next week.
Mia Franklin, New York, you are Miss America 2019.
There she is, Miss America, Nia Franklin. This classically trained composer pays a visit to Studio 5 to share the significance of her reign.
I'm a part of history. This is the first time that we haven't had the swimsuit competition.
And what's ahead as she prepares to pass on the crown.
Certainly hope you'll join us for that and so much more come next week. Before we say goodbye today, we wanted to give the final word to Linsey Davis. For children or parents, when the child doesn't have a good experience with being different, when they come home with a sad story, how do you address when they are different and people aren't necessarily celebrating or embracing that difference about them?
Well, I think that one thing, and this is pretty much true, I think in most situations of kind of confrontation or conflict, is addressing it head on and not trying to just avoid it or, you know, brush it under the rug. And so I think that I would try to talk to the child about how there are other children who don't have the experiences and exposure, and so they just sometimes fear what they don't know. And so sometimes when you're afraid of things, you might make fun of it as children, right? And so you just have to understand that that is about them, it's not about you. And I think that that is naturally part of parenting, is building our own children up so that when they're broken down by the outside, there's still something resilient within their core.
Thanks, Linsey. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.